Welcome to episode 173 of Both Down, the number one Blood Bowl podcast.
From the Gulf of America.
No, don't. Anyways, this is Steve, aka Kilowoggy. With me, as always, is the annoying Scott Prime.
From the land of Atlantis from
Oh.
millions of years ago.
You don't need to yell right into the mic.
I just want to take everything back to their original names way back a million years ago.
Well, then you would stick with Gulf of Mexico since it's been that way since the 1400s or whatever.
No, I want to go back even further.
Oh, okay. Well, there wasn't one if you go far enough back.
Welcome to the American Ocean.
To Pangea.
Yeah, we're in like, are we in like Northwest Pangea?
I don't even know. Where are we?
I am Scott Prime. He is Steve Kilowoggy Campbell. And yes, we're just trying to all be sane here. What's you been doing, my man?
Beginning of the year, I got my bachelor's degree.
Hey, look at you.
I know, finally. It only took me 30 years.
What's your degree in?
Business administration.
So does this mean you're going to get a raise at work or leave work for a new job?
No raise. My job is too good for me to leave it. They take good care of me. It's very low stress. I enjoy what I do. Like, I could now that I have that and a couple of years of experience under my belt, I could probably make an additional $20K a year at a different company, but I can't guarantee to have the same freedom and flexibility.
Security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's one thing too, is like those companies are driven by CEOs, whereas State Farm is not. It's run by the people that own it. So
nice. So this is just really a personal achievement for you.
Yep. And going to get a master's because work pays for it. Why not?
Oh, I didn't know the work has been paying for this the whole time.
Yeah.
Wow, look at you.
Take advantage where you can.
Yeah, you're the master.
Other than that, just got back from LVO last weekend.
And should we save that for the segment? Let's save it for the segment.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
But. Any other stuff not LVO related? I want to say LWO related, but I know we're not talking about the Latino World Order here.
No, we're not.
From WCW Wrestling.
World Cup voting starts at the end of the month, and we find out February 15th.
Right. Oh, that's cool.
Sad thing is, we will have a podcast coming out right before then. So,
is that how that's going to line up?
Yeah.
It's Saturday the
14th.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, maybe we'll just do.
I don't know
a shorty and another one.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't get it, you don't even want to podcast about it. If you do get it, maybe we'll celebrate and we'll podcast about it. How about that?
I'm good with that.
Or we talk about where you are going to go, because I know you're going to travel everywhere, because you got to mark off every place in the world where you played Blood Bowl.
I do.
I want to do the same things, but I want to mark off never mind.
Yes, places you've had sex. We got it. Everybody knows.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Wow, what a shock.
Yeah, so predictable.
Anything going on with you?
We started the Blood Bowl League. We had our first league meeting just last Saturday as we record this, and just days ago. And was it last Saturday or the Saturday before?
Either way.
Yeah. Anyways, 8 days ago, we had the league meeting, and we have 15 people for our league, so not too bad. We have a few new people. We have a guy who's currently not from this area, but he's been in this area for like 6 months doing construction work. And he said, we're slowly going across the state.
Oh.
So I'm hoping we'll stay around long enough for me to get he was like, I'm just happy to be playing Blood Bowl. So
that's cool.
If I had to come up and leave in May, I leave. But right now I'm really happy to be here. So anyway, so we have 15 people. Hopefully a few more will join in due time. I think there's only a couple repeat teams, which is not too bad. I think there's 2 undead teams and 2 lizard man teams, but other than that, everybody else is playing a different race. So that's kind of cool. I took vampires, and my first game I played against lizard men, and I wasn't ready. Now that I look back upon it, I wasn't doing things. I was playing more like a tournament game versus like a league game. Like
Oh, yeah.
I probably should have been like tossing the ball back and forth amongst my vampire throwers to
Hmm.
milk a couple SBPs here and there. And I didn't do that. And
Not just throwing thralls to the crusher.
I was trying not to. And at the same time, it was happening either way. Um, so far, my vampire dice that came from GW, they seem to roll a lot. And I mean a lot of ones. Um, I didn't do too bad. I tied, which is not bad considering I took 5 casualties.
Yeah.
Thank God I had a roster of 13 players and stuff. But I'll take the tie. But I probably should have done a few things a little different for like a league type game, especially the way our league set up where you're just looking to improve your team over the season. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. I'll take the tie and move on to the next game. I also I played that game last Tuesday with a bunch of miniatures that I decided I'm not going to pay somebody. I'm actually going to paint these. And that was the reason I took vampires. I had vampires, corn, and nobles or imperial nobility that I haven't got painted.
Yeah.
And since I've been painting some kill team stuff lately, and man, I've been churning it out lately.
Hmm.
For me, that's pretty good.
And they look really good.
So just this month alone, I painted 22 models of Imperial Navy breachers for Kill Team. Yes, I bought an extra box. It's not needed, but I bought it just to get all the different gun optionals for a really crappy team, basically. Um, then I painted all my terrain that came in my Hivestorm box for Kill Team as well, including the buildings and all that stuff, and then like all the terrain. And I have stuff color coded for like heavy terrain has some red stuff metal in it, and then like blue terrain is the light terrain.
Nice.
Anyways, I'm pretty proud. It actually does look pretty good judging by like Scott standards.
It just
Um,
looks pretty good. You don't need to go by Scott standards. It looks good.
okay, and it helped that we had like I had some days off to paint those teams and buildings because we're like snow and ice and stuff. Well, not really ice, but snow, and just had all day to work on stuff. And I'm using speed paints and stuff. But I'm doing this method where I primer them black and then I dry brush them all white, and
Hmm.
not all completely white. There's black in there, and then I hit them with the speed paints and stuff. And anyways, they turned out pretty good. And last Tuesday I played my vampire team with a bunch of models that were just primered and then just had the little white on them, dry brush on it. And I have extra vampires, but I have 11 thralls painted, completely painted, and sealed. I have 2 vampire throwers, 2 vampire runners, 1 vampire blitzer, and 1 coach, all painted, sealed, ready to play. So, what I thought was going to take like half the season or so just to get a complete team painted, I've managed to knock out in less than, I mean, it's not even been a week since last Tuesday when I played my game.
That's awesome.
So, I've done pretty well on that. I'm kind of in this mode where I come home and paint a couple hours every night.
Do you have a Vargeist?
I do. I have actually 2. So what I have left to paint is I have of course the other Blitzer. I have the GW Vargeist, and then I have a Vargeist I just bought that was like a monster GW like medieval,
Yeah.
whatever that old world range or whatever. So I'm probably gonna just paint them both up, and then I have 4 thralls. I went with the theme of because I'm stupid and I wanted extra thralls. I went with the theme of I like the extra heads that don't have helmets, but you got to think positive, right? If I want their armor not to break, they got to have helmets. So with my second box, I went ahead and built all the thralls, the main thralls have helmets, and then I'm painting up like 4 loner guys that don't have helmets
For journeyman.
for journeyman. Yeah,
Nice.
I'm sorry, loner. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I meant. Yeah, journeyman figures for that, and then all my vampires have helmets too. So if you're out there and you maybe have a human team and you want 6 vampires to go with your like human linemen, I'd probably sell them to you for a decent price. So 3 of the vampires are built and 3 are not. So there you go.
Well, that's
And
cool.
of course, they don't have helmet heads. They just have the regular vampire heads.
You
So,
could paint them for me, and I'll take them.
hmm. I
Because
mean, I
I don't
could.
have the new vampires. I have my old ones, which I love, and I love
Yeah,
those thralls. Like that's I'm not a I like the new thralls, but I love the old ones.
I love. Is your team painted?
Yeah.
Um, I love the new thralls. I mean, I'm not the new thralls. I love the old thralls a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I'm just gonna
I get it.
with band fees and winter guard fees and fees, kid fees for band and stuff. Because my kids, we did the Disney World trip, we got that over with,
Saw
but
that.
then the fees started. Yeah, new season of fees come in. I'm probably gonna go ahead and part with my old vampire team as well. But the good news is for some reason I bought extra vampires, so I have like two of each of the different sculpts. So
Oh
it
wow.
works out really perfect to have 2 blitzers. The 2 female ones could obviously be the runners, just
Yeah.
like we have now, and the other 2. So yeah, it's I probably need to just post that and see if anybody's interested in the old metal teams.
Painted or
And
unpainted?
they're unpainted. They'd have to be,
Yeah.
the flash would have to be removed so somebody really could customize them and stuff. But yeah, they're
I
pretty awesome. And
I
of
don't
course,
know about
there's
old
extra
teams,
throw.
man.
Huh?
I don't know about old teams anymore. Like I've had those ogres up for sale for months, and it got no hits. And I think the fifth
Yeah,
edition ogres are some of the best models they've done because they are perfect for Blood Bowl.
I agree. But most people, I think some people are now, the newer players are actually scared of the metal. Like if you ever
Yeah.
have a metal figure and you play and somebody goes, "Oh, these are metal? Ooh."
Mm-hmm.
And they act like you're some, like you're Yoda. And they're like, "Wow, I've never seen a lightsaber that looks like this." And anyways,
I
so
get it.
yes, I have painted 39 individual figures. I have built, besides building those teams, I have built like 3 other kill teams in that same time period of this month. I have painted 4 big buildings, and then, like I said, all the terrain. So I've actually shockingly have become kind of a painter guy right now. I don't know how
Good.
long it's going to last, but
It usually lasts during winter, and then once spring comes around, you're like, oh, I can leave the house.
well, probably. And I'm just trying to do what I can, and
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. So
Oh, you're done with all that, right?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing. I don't know.
Um.
I guess I was talking about the league, and then I got sidetracked.
Oh,
So,
anything more
anyways,
about the league? Just
yeah.
started. Okay. I did play the arena mode on Blood Bowl 3, and
Explain that to me, since
yeah.
I'm a moron who doesn't know what that means.
Well, you just don't play it. So I had to learn too. Basically, you get to create a custom team, so it's kind of like a tournament rule set. So you can build up to 1.1, I think, and then add skills based on your tier, etc. So I took Skaven, the Screeton Screes, and just wanted to test it out, see how it went. The goal is to win 7 games before you lose 2 games, and it's playing against other people in the arena.
Wow.
My first game, I played. I go up against a guy, and I keep him from scoring for the first half, and he just quits on me. It's like,
Nice.
okay, that's a win. Second game, it's raining. I win the kickoff result, and he forfeits.
Awesome.
I won the second and third game pretty easily. Fourth, sorry, third and fourth game pretty easily. Fifth game, I go in. I don't realize that there's overtime. That's on me. I should have paid attention. So I'm like throwing stuff at this guy to keep him from scoring to win in regulation. And I'm down people and it goes into overtime. I was like, oh crap. Still hold off, and it goes to a shootout. So like a sudden death shootout, which I've never seen before. And I go up 2-0, and then lose. So he won the kickoff. It's like, damn it. And then my next game, I go to play, and within 4 turns, I basically have 5 people on the pitch. It's like, okay, I'm done.
All right. So
So
you
not
didn't do very good in the arena.
no, not so great. Thought he was starting off really solid. Did not end up well.
What do you get if you get 7 wins before you take 2 losses?
Nothing. But if I think at the end of the season you get a banner, like a nameplate that you can put under your name that
Okay.
says, arena champion or whatever champion, and there's one
It
for
seems
each
like it would be
race.
like
I think
if
you
you
also
win
get,
7 out of 10 games. This
I don't know.
winning 7 games out of not before you get to the ninth game is weird.
I
I
didn't
don't
make
know.
it, so. But it's a neat little thing. It's a nice way to play with different races with skills and stuff. So going up
They already
against some
come with skills,
you get to choose.
just like a tournament.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Skaven got to choose, I think, 6 regular and 1 double. And I've got, like, my last game I went up against orcs who just took 6 blocks. And I was just like, I'm dead. And I just got destroyed. And it is resurrection. There's no leveling. It's just like a tournament. It's pretty neat.
Okay.
I think that's
That's
it.
it. That's it for arena. Nothing else. You didn't try it
Um,
again.
I did try again and I got frustrated and quit. So it's Blood Bowl 3.
I hear a lot of people. I mean, I'm sure somewhere, I'm sure the leagues are going smooth, but I hear a lot of people randomly like, I hit this guy and I KO'd him and he just quit. I'm like,
That does
what?
happen a lot. And I try not to do that, but sometimes you just know.
Gary says that it's anytime you play dwarves, like the game just loves dwarves.
That they do. Oh, and they also love apothecaries doing the exact same thing. So if you die, you stay dead. And apparently, Argue the Call works 3 out of 4 times for certain people.
That seems really convenient.
Yeah, that's what got me to quit one of my games. It's just like, oh, you know what? I'm done. Fine, whatever. And I don't want to be a douche, but sometimes it's like getting close. It's past bedtime. I'm like, I don't need to be doing this.
Sometimes just being a douche is what you feel like being, right?
Sometimes you feel like a douche. Sometimes you don't.
Speaking of douches, I guess we should go to our next segment and let's talk about the LW. See, I almost did it.
The Latino
LWO.
World Organization.
Let's talk about the LVO that you travel to, the Las Vegas Open. And I'll ask you questions and everything there because we've heard about this event for many years.
Yeah.
And I'd like to hear your take on it.
Sounds good. We'll be right back.
Also, we're going to talk about the Downies in the second segment, which is like our little award show for like tournament stuff. So
yeah, and since we'll be back in 2 weeks, we'll just do the 2 segments.
Sounds good. Let's take a break and we'll come back with some LVO.
Both Down is brought to you by BigDealSwag.com. Check out Big Deal Swag for all your tournament swag and Both Down needs.
Okay, let's talk some LVO, the Las Vegas Open. Every year, from my knowledge, since we started paying attention to tournaments, has always been a giant like GT or whatever they call those for Warhammer, where everybody gets together and plays some Warhammer, and maybe they play Kill Team and other things. I'm hoping you have more information on that, but I know for sure that the like Las Vegas crew, and I might misspeak names here, but I know like Mark Perry, maybe Doug
Yeah.
and
Neb.
Neb have either kind of ran it or helped run it
Mm-hmm.
for years. I keep thinking there was a lady that also maybe ran it one year.
Yeah, Alicia Chang.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about the LVO, because in my brain, all it is a bunch of Warhammer people playing Warhammer. There's no vendors, but I'm sure there is vendors. And there's just a small room with some guys playing Blood Bowl.
So that's basically right. LVO is the largest 40K tournament out there. And it's interesting too because I did post this on the Blood Bowl community and on our
And it's the
Facebook.
largest
It's the
Warhammer
largest
event?
Warhammer event in the world with 1,100 coaches.
Oh,
And we
okay.
had more than twice that many at the last World Cup. So that just
I get what you're saying.
really
Okay.
shows, like, yes, we're treated as a redheaded stepchild, but we show where it matters. Um, and I can talk more about that later. But yes, it is in Vegas. It's been ran for a long time. Do believe
You know what number this tournament was?
no. um,
Okay.
I don't know what number Vegas or Las Vegas Open it was. I can tell you that the actual event is. I always screw this up because the actual event is Sin City. So this was the 10th Sin
Sin City
City.
Bowl. Okay.
Yeah.
10th one. Okay.
And I don't know how long LVO's been going on.
Okay.
But yeah,
That's
just run through my whole experience. I did fly in on Thursday night because the Sin City Bowl starts on Friday. Um, Doug Saunders did pick me up and let me stay with him, so that was cool. Next,
wow. Did you get to see his wrestling collection?
yeah, I gotta see that. I gotta see his pets.
His pets.
Saw the dog.
Is
And,
this
he's
like,
got a dog and two cats.
oh, like animals?
Animals. Yeah.
Okay. Because I
Uh,
heard that in the BDSM community, they sometimes call
why? Why?
their
Can we
extras
just have like one
pets.
segment? One segment.
Dude,
Okay.
nobody does that. This, everybody's laughing because they're like, that's not Doug.
Yes, everybody loves it. So
I'm sure Doug is laughing right now.
I know, but I have to give you a hard time. That's half the fun.
Sure. Okay. So how many pets?
He had a dog and two cats.
Nice. You love some cats.
Do
All right.
so the morning of Friday we went to the Rio. It's not directly on the strip, but it's close enough, and it's just huge. I mean, it's Vegas. Everything's huge, but it took us probably 15 minutes to walk from the parking lot to the gaming area.
Okay.
Um, so the actual Sin City, we did get a room to our own because that's a very surprisingly it's the most profitable event that LVO at LVO is what I'm told. How that works out, but still they make a good amount of money off of it. There was about 90 coaches. I don't remember the exact number. We did have our very own room, so that was nice.
You had 90 coaches at this Blood Bowl tournament?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
There was a slight snafu on pitches at the very beginning. There wasn't enough. There did end up being enough, but everybody was supposed to bring one. Not everybody did. But luckily, I actually walked out with an extra pitch because Woody.
You stole one.
No, Woody gave me the prototype for the America World Cup bid pitch.
Oh, nice.
So I got that now. And I was playing Underworld. And do you know why I was playing Underworld?
So if you don't get the World Cup bid, are you going to send that pitch to like a third world country so like kids over there can play Blood Bowl like they do
No.
with like, like reject Super
T-shirts and
Bowl
stuff.
winner shirts for the
No, this will be mine.
Eagles? Oh,
Now,
you should send it overseas.
with as much as people are loving it, most likely it'll be repurposed into a pitch that Squigmeyer will sell. But this will be mine.
I think you should send this one overseas, just like
I
they
think
do
you
with
should
those
shut
shirts.
up.
Okay.
So,
All right. Why were you playing Underworld? If I remember correctly, You went to some event and you got an underworld team that you got painted like little gangsters and like mobsters, if I remember correctly.
You don't, but it's close. So the first Oracle Cup, when it was first ran, was the North American Team Championship, and it was held in
Okay.
Vegas. So 2016, I think, something like
Okay.
that. Um, and I was tapped to run the website for some unknown reason. I'm not a website person, but I did. So I got to be part of the committee, and they were talking about creating a team for it. They were getting it sculpted, and it was going to be the Rat Pack because it was Vegas. I'm like, oh, that's
Okay.
cool.
That's what it
So it's
is.
going
Yeah.
to be like rats in suits and sunglasses and fedoras. They're like, no, it'll just be rats. It's like, dude, come on. This is the Rat Pack. You got to do the suits and fedoras and stuff. So they did. So that team exists in the manner it is because of me. And I thought maybe I was crazy and just misremembering. So I actually went back in my emails and found that exchange. So I am correct in this. So yeah, my first tournament in Vegas, I have to take them. They're awesome. Now, since they now have access to snotlings, I'm thinking about creating, like going through Ugni or someone to 3D model some snotlings as Vegas showgirls.
There you go.
So I need some of those. With that being said, since I don't have any snotlings, my team consisted of a rat ogre with block, thrower with leader, gutter runner with block, a blitzer with horns, 7 gobos, 1 with sneaky git, 3 rerolls, and 2 bribes. So round 1, I got it was funny too because I did have a couple of people order some stuff through Big Deal Swag, and one of them was Jeffro. He's like, "Oh, my buddy Wally's going there. You can just give it to him." I was like, "Okay, I'll find him eventually." First guy I go up against was Wally, so
Nice.
didn't even have to track him
So
down.
is this Friday?
Yeah,
This is Friday because
Friday,
this is a 2 round event, correct?
2-day event.
2 day event. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no, you're good. Yeah, they do Friday, Saturday, and then sevens is Sunday, so that it finishes early and people can fly out that evening.
Okay.
Um, so I went up against Wally. He had Dark Elves, and it really was. After I finished it, I told everybody it's probably one of the best games I ever played. Not really completely because of stuff I did. It's just all my dice were working and none of his were. So that really makes it easy.
Man,
And
I would love to have one of those games.
and I would say it's the worst luck I've seen in a game, but there are 5 more games to go, so we'll get into that later. Keeping these pretty short, because I don't remember them and I didn't take good notes. But I did win 4-0 with 6 casualties to his 2, and most of my casualties came by way of fouling. I think I had 4 foul casualties. I will say one thing that's weird is casualties were anything that was in the box. Didn't matter how it happened. If something went to the box, it counted. So if they failed to dodge, if you casualty someone because you bite the thrall and kill it, it just counts. I don't love it, but it is what it is. For lunch, we ended up going to a chicken finger place because it was the cheapest place there, and it just took forever. So literally, we have 45 minutes to eat lunch, and it takes I think 11 or 12 minutes to walk from the Blood Bowl room to the food place.
How long did you have for lunch?
Only 45 minutes.
Okay.
And there's literally, I guess you could probably go to a different place, but like the closest option for food is 12 minutes away unless you're going to a sit down place. And that's on foot,
Oh.
walking. If you want to go to the car, good luck, you're not getting back. So that kind of sucked, and we were there the whole day. I feel like we should be longer lunch, but that's my pet peeve. Um, Chicken finger place, super expensive, super slow, really good though. So it was high quality. I was not upset. Did not end up going this place all 3 days for lunch, so not super exciting there. They did have a lot of different sauces, so I did try different sauces.
Okay.
Side of sauce, $2. A can of soda at LVO, $6. A
The
can of
fudge.
soda.
The fudge.
Yeah. So round two, obviously with a dominating performance like that, I'm on top table.
Heck yeah.
And I go up against Brian Hopkins with his Skaven team. And this is a rematch of the Rocky Mountain Rampage final table, where it was me and him. This was another great game. He's a great guy, great coach. It was very back and forth. I was really running low on people, but still keeping it competitive. It was tied 1-1 in the second half. I'm keeping him from scoring. I've got him pinned to the sideline. I basically have everybody out of commission except a blitzer. And on his last turn, the last turn of the game, he dodges into a tackle zone, picks up the ball in a tackle zone, dodges into a tackle zone, dodges out of a tackle zone, and goes for it twice for a touchdown with no rerolls.
Well, what do you do in that?
Right. So I lost 2-1. It was 1 casualty for me, 3 for him, and then plenty of knockouts. And I don't feel bad about this. This is not a bad loss. I did everything I could. It probably should have been a tie, but you can't control dice. So, just is what it is. Game 3, I go up against the Lizards. Coach's name was Brian. I don't remember his last name. Started off by failing pickup 2 times when the ball was kicked to me. And then the next turn, I failed it again. I was able to casualty a Saurus. Didn't really matter because he can just get the ball with his skinks. They're the ones who are killing me. I was actually able to score. I think he scored turn 4. And then I tied it up 1-1. So second half, I'm, again, holding him off, keeping it competitive, keeping him from scoring, getting the hits on the ball carrier when he needed to, up until that last turn again. So the ball's on the ground. I have my thrower right next to it, like diagonally, like at the 1 position. He's got 3 Sauri next to me. So if I stand up, he's just going to knock me down. It doesn't matter. And he's got his skink that's right next to the ball that's on the ground. So my plan was I had a Gobbo who's 1 square away from just tying up the skink. So I was going to tie up the skink with the Gobbo, then stand up my other guy, go dodge onto the ball, fail, obviously, most likely, and just let it scatter and see what happens. But I failed to go for it. So all he had to do, again with no rerolls, this one wasn't so bad, he just had to pick up the ball and walk in. So again, close, 2-1 loss. Casualties were 4 from me, 3 for him. Again, it's close. I'm not too upset. But my record for the day, 1 win, 2 losses. Not loving it. We end up going to Fremont Street downtown that evening because I wanted to see that while I had the chance because I knew I could do this trip on Saturday. You would love that place, but it's insane. So
Why would I love it? Was there boobs?
Oh yeah, lots of boobs.
Oh, then I would love it.
So we did get to go to a toy store first, so that was
So was
cool.
the strip club?
No, this is just downtown Fremont. This is
Oh, you're just saying in general the place.
Yeah.
I got you.
So this is the place with like the overhead light show where the whole, overhead is lit up. That's amazing, obviously, but they're constantly playing music. It's very loud. It allows open container drinking, so people are just walking around drunk. People walking around smoking. But yeah, there's a woman with probably size 50F breasts with just pasties on and a little thong underwear. Obviously not attractive, but with a whip.
I'll look at anybody naked. I'm
Right.
fine.
But she had pasties, like the smallest ones you could find. She had a whip, and she's just constantly blowing a whistle. There are guys rapping. There's people banging drums. There's a guy who's a wounded vet and just laying there. They have like designated circles that people can be in to harass people, I guess. Um, so those other like women dressed as showgirls that you could get photos with. There's people dressed up in the mascot's costume. It's all I don't get it. It's not
It
my
sounds very New Orleans ish, where like, or even like when I was in Hawaii, where they had the street performers and stuff like that
yeah.
everywhere.
It's
Some of
just
them were
too
great, and some
much.
of them were dumb.
Yeah, it's mainly dumb. And it was neat to see. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy seeing the aspect of it. Um, we got to go to the end of Fremont Street. We saw the restaurant where they filmed. Uh, was it Goodfellas? Um, or Casino, I guess. And we were going to eat there, but we didn't have a reservation. So they're like, "Do you want to sit at the bar?" Like, no, I do not want to sit at the bar and pay $60 for a steak. So, but we ended up going to a pizza place called Pizza Rock, I believe, and it was amazing. So this place had every style of pizza you could think of. Like its menu was like, do you want grandma pizza? Do you want Sicilian? Do you want Detroit? I'm like, aren't those all the same thing? But they're not. You get thin crust. You can get fire, brick oven. Just, I would love to live by that place. I would be eating it constantly. And we had Sicilian with whatever on it. It was great. But then, yeah, just kind of came home, crashed, and then went for day two. Um, Day two, I decided to grab breakfast because we didn't for day one, and Guy Fieri has a place that's called, I don't remember what the real name is, but it's Spanish for drunken donkey, like
El
Baracho,
Drunko
Baracho
Don,
Burro, something like that.
Donkio.
But um, I saw their menu and it's like they had some stuff for breakfast, and it was like muffins and etc. and croissants and Danish or something. I was like, "What type of muffins do you have?" I don't know. Okay, could you check? It's either blueberry or raspberry. Okay, let me go ahead and have one of the other things. Like, oh, we don't have that. Okay, what do you have? And they named off the muffins, which were on the menu, and like two other things that were not on the menu. So I got a cinnamon roll. And again, a soda is $6. Cinnamon roll is only $4. Um, so I order a cinnamon roll. She yells back to the girl in the back, cinnamon roll, and she didn't know what it was. Like the girl from the back brought it up front and goes, "Okay," and was like, "Yeah, that's the cinnamon roll." She goes, "Okay," and they tried to give me. She's like, "You want it cold? Or you want it heated? Heated, please." And then I had to ask for a fork. Okay, so anyways, weird experience all around. Well worth it. Like I got that the next day too because that cinnamon roll was good. But in my head, I'm paying $6 for a cinnamon roll and $4 for a soda because I can justify that. Vegas is expensive, dude. Like
I
crazy
believe it.
expensive.
Cheap to get there.
Yeah, but yeah, I messaged my brother. I'm like, hey, so I don't want to be this guy, but I might need some extra money if that's cool. He's like, yeah, have fun. Like, okay. um, so round four, go up against Dane, and I went up against Nurgle. This one was not close. So I had 5 turns that ended on my first activation. And one of those games where he's apologizing to me, he's like, nothing you can do. I'm like, I get it. I'm not even mad. I ended up losing 2-0, 5 casualties him and 1 me. And like this was a true loss. The other two I was fine with. This one I'm still kind of fine with because I couldn't do anything. If I'm failing first activations on 5 turns, I'm not doing anything. Um, so next game, I ended up playing against Woody from Squigmire. So that was cool. Never played him before, and he's on
Okay.
the World Cup committee, and we're friends and all that. So he's playing vampires, which sucks to begin with, no pun intended. But he's using Skaven models. So that was not fun. So I'm trying to keep all that straight. Now, I would be more upset, except for, remember when I said the first game was the worst dice I've seen? This was worse by like a factor of 2. Woody had 5 rerolls, and he lost. What did he? 3 to, I won 3 to nothing. And he had
Wow.
4 casualties to my having 4 casualties. My last touchdown was scored by my rat ogre. That's how bad his game was going. And we had some people sit down like the last 5 or 10 minutes. They're like, oh, hey, how's it going? We tell them, like, it's going crazy. Woody just literally cannot do anything. Even when he has rerolls, it's just failing. And they're like, oh, sure. I believe you. And they watched us for 5 or 10 minutes, and then they're like, oh, wow, this is insane. So again, I got the win. I'm more than happy with it, but I don't feel like I did it. It was the craziest thing. Again, 5 rerolls of vampires. He should be dominating me, and he's not. Um, then we got the final round, round 6. I played Josh from Players to Nuffle, which was interesting because I sat down and said, hey, name's Steve. I handed him the stuff I handed everybody, the dice and the stickers, and it goes, oh, hey, Kilowoggy, didn't we just interview you? He's like, weren't you on Players to Nuffle? I was like, yeah. We just interviewed you. I was like, oh, cool, nice to meet you. And so he was playing Skaven, but he was playing real Skaven. So it took me a while to get my brain readjusted that there weren't thralls. He played fine, and this is a game where it comes down to just me getting the casualties when I needed them. I almost pitch cleared him. I had 5 casualties. He ended up having 4 against me, but a lot of those were me failing dodges or me letting him push me out of bounds just to get a better position or something. I won 3 to nothing. So
Wow.
I had 3 blowout wins, 2 close losses, and 1 total loss. So for the weekend with Underworld, I'm not upset about that.
That's good. 3-3.
Yeah, I'd rather do better, but whatever.
So, was there vendors at LWO?
LVO is where I went.
LVO. See, I told you.
So there were, but I didn't see them because I didn't go into that room. I didn't think about it until the end, and by then I was just tired. So I will say, um, after that round, I met up with our GW contact, who was there from over from England. So it was very cool to see him. I went to the main hall where the 1,000+ people were at, and it was dead quiet. Like our tiny room was 5 times louder. Of course, it's a tiny room, and all the walls are just reflecting the sound. But this was a giant room, tall ceilings, and it was so quiet. It was amazing.
Was everybody playing?
Yeah. No, everybody was playing and they were talking. It's just the sound was just so well maintained through the ceiling and the acoustics. Um,
Hmm.
so I'm trying to think of what all I can say because,
Well, then don't say it if you can't say it.
well, I'm not going to say stuff I can't say. But I did. We did go over a few things. So one of the main things is there's absolutely no animosity between GW and Blood Bowl. I brought that up, and he's like, I don't even know what that would mean. I go, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to throw it out there. So GW doesn't think anything negative of Blood Bowl.
Yeah, why would they?
I don't
Who
know.
who says that?
I think it's
Like,
more some people have negative opinions about GW, or
oh, is this like a real like rumor thing?
yeah, but I'm just putting it out there.
Okay.
Um, I did pass along a few things for the developers, and I'll be sending him a follow up email about some stuff. But we had good discussions about things, and I explained to him, basically like World Cup. It was kind of odd that GW didn't do anything about the previous World Cup, And his response was, "Did they ask?" I was like, "You know what? Honestly, I don't know." But I was like, they probably shouldn't have to ask because your people should know that. And again, I used LVO as an example. Like, this is a ton of people. I get it. We had twice as many people at the last World Cup for a game that probably doesn't sell as much as some of the other games, but still, that's amazing. And he's a communications guy. He doesn't do anything with the playtesting or production or rules or anything like that. So it was news to him, and I think that we can, no matter which way the World Cup goes, I'm going to be in communication with them to possibly get something to happen at World Cup, which would be cool. They seemed open to it. I told him about the FAQ not coming out. He said they'll get checked on that. I told him the main thing everybody wants is the rule set. Just release it free to the public because we can't get people into the game. He's like, "Oh, I hadn't heard of that." I'm like, yeah, it's impossible to get someone into the game because they can't buy the rules online. They have to go to eBay. If it's not in store, people are not going to just pick it up. And then the final thing I did mention about the cards, and he just laughed. And he's like, "If they don't sell, we won't make them. But if we're making them, they obviously sell." I was like, "Okay, I don't get it, but I guess people do buy them."
Well, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, but it's real neat. We like I said, we talked about other stuff too, but nothing I can really get into. And again, nothing groundbreaking. He's a communications guy. He doesn't have insider info, and even if he did, he wouldn't be able to tell me. But it's nice to at least have the open line of communication. Um, so then that evening, Doug and some guys went to a soccer game. I had the opportunity to because I guess Lionel Messi was in town. I didn't
That's
care.
cool.
Um,
You didn't go
ultimately,
touch them.
no.
Did
So,
you at least go to a brothel since you were in
God no,
Vegas?
dude. A, they're not in Vegas, so I'd have to get a ride like an hour and
Oh,
some away.
and you already
B,
spent your money on
do
all the
you
$6
do
cokes,
you
and
know,
your brother wasn't going to give you money for the
dude? I
brothel.
only had like two. I think I had two sodas the whole time from those in the morning. No, I never touched my brother's money. I was just like, in case something comes up, because you never know. Um, but I did walked over to Caesars. It's my favorite casino. It took me longer than it should have to get there because I was walking the wrong area. I went around the back and basically found the entrance for the employees, and they let me
So
in.
you were trying to take the back door?
Basically, I went in the back way. Yeah,
Oh,
that was neat. I did have an expensive quesadilla for dinner. It was pretty good.
okay.
Um, Actually, I did well on the slots because I did have some money put aside for the slots and was up a couple $100. But then I had
Bro, I'm gonna call you out. You told your
no.
brother, like, hey man, I
Hey,
got these $6 cokes. Can you send me a good 20? But
I
I got
said
money to
in
gamble.
case, so I had money set aside. It's fine.
Okay. All right.
Um, and he's been paid back. It was nothing. It was just you never know what's going to happen. Like if we wanted
I
to,
get you. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I know, but like one meal could be $100, and if we ended up doing that, then I'd rather have the money in advance than not. Anyways, so then I had to walk about a mile and a half to go find Doug and the guys at New York, New York, which is on the other end of the strip. Um, but I did time it perfectly to go out and see the fountains at Bellagio's. So
Oh,
that
that's
was
cool.
cool. And again, so many annoying people. Like, it's just constant, street performers and beggars and people shouting about Jesus. I had two girls, and I just put my head down and walk. And I have two women come up to me dressed as showgirls, and I'm looking at my phone, and they're like, "Hey, what's your?" And I'm wearing the both down, the one with the big guy and the us on the heads,
Uh
the
huh.
spikes. Like, "Hey, what's your shirt say?" "Slow down, let me read what your shirt say. I can't read it." And I was just like, "No, thank you."
dude.
Why would you
They were
wear
like,
that if I can't read it,
they
weirdo?
they smelt that your brother gave you money, and they were like, "This guy is like a wounded deer. We're gonna give him some deer corn
Just
and try to
fuck.
lure him in."
I
Little did they
just,
know, Steve just cares about Blood Bowl.
I just don't like that. It's so annoying. And I don't remember Vegas being that way. And again, I haven't been in Vegas in 20 years, so I get times have changed. But I don't. The only I remember previously like being harassed by people handing out flyers for the brothels and stuff. But that was just like you don't take it, you're left alone. There was not this constant parade of weirdos and street performers and shit. It's very annoying.
Oh, I bet.
Um,
Somebody they must bug somebody enough that they cave because
oh, of
otherwise they
course.
wouldn't do it.
Yeah. They walk around, they get photos, and then they're like, oh, you took a photo with me, so now it's $20 each. Well, we didn't want it. Well, too bad, you did it. All that type of stuff. The next day, I pretty much had no intention of playing sevens because I thought I was leaving sooner than I was, and I thought I had other stuff to do, but I didn't. So I ended up playing sevens, and I just threw together a roster. I just had Underworld with me, so played that.
Okay.
First round was very cool. So I was there, and I was in line checking in for or for Sin City Bowl on Friday, and a guy behind me goes, "Oh my! Oh wait, are you Kilowoggy?" I go, "Oh yeah, hey." He goes, "Oh man, I'm a huge fan of yours for the podcast, yours and Scott, and blah blah blah." And like he was real fangirling out about the whole thing. I was like, "Look, I get it, I appreciate it. We're the same way, meeting Johnny and Extreme and Chance and Drew, so it's cool." So his name is Sebastian. Like I said, big fan of this podcast, and he was upset you didn't come. So a lot of
Oh,
people were, and I got to play him first round of sevens, so that was neat.
did you beat him?
Well, I did. So um, he was playing Dark Elves. I did win 2-0. I was up 1-0, and then he kicked off to me and it went out of bounds. So I gave the ball to my Rat Ogre, and the Rat Ogre
Nice.
scored again. He did end up he got one casualty to my none, so that was good. And this is something I need to bring up to Mark, but these rounds were way too short. They're supposed to be an hour long rounds. They were not. First round was called in like 45 minutes or something. Everybody was still playing. It was odd. Um, and then round two, there's no lunch, which is fine because it doesn't need to be for this. Round two, played Alex and his Skaven, and I got my first loss in sevens. So Skaven did Skaven things, and I lost 3-0, and he had two casualties against me. I think one of them was my Rat Ogre missing a go for it and dying, so that was fun. And then round three, played Hunter Apple from Houston, I believe, and he had Skaven again because it's sevens. Everybody loves Skavens.
Yep.
However, on this one, I got the casualties where I needed them. I had 3 casualties to his 2, and mine were early, so I ended up winning 2-0. So for
Nice.
sevens, I went 2-1 overall, and my sevens record total now is 9-1. So,
Yeah, but you still dodged the big boys at Chaos Cup, I noticed.
yep, sure did.
No. Um, how many people were there for sevens since you had around 90 people for the other event?
That was 48, I want to say.
Wow, that's nice.
Actually, let me look at my tracker. I should have that in here.
Man, I wish you would have like walked around because I want some
Oh, let me
I
go.
want some blingy things for Kill Team.
Wrong tracker. What did I play? Underworld. I played Underworld. So Nevada. Got to go to my main tracker. There was 56. So it's
Oh,
a
okay.
it's a big number for sevens.
Yeah, it's still big. Yeah.
Um, After that, Doug took off. I hung around the casino. I did get to meet with Alex, the vice president of Frontline Gaming. He's very nice. He's very busy because he was handling everything, and just wanted to meet him because, you know, we got Mark taking care of Las Vegas Open. They wanted him. So Frontline Gaming, the guy who was previously running events for them or setting up the events inside of the main event, was let go for reasons I won't get into. But safe to say, Mark was never going to go to a Frontline Gaming event again. And then they replaced that guy, and he got compensated for what he should have been. So he ran it again, and they were so impressed. The guy who took over, the VP, was like, "Look, I'm taking it over. I want you to run every Frontline Gaming event." Mark's like, "I would love to. My wife would kill me." So he's like, "Well, what about this?" And he's like, "I can get away for Father's Day, so I can do Atlantic City." And he's like, "Cool, go do those. You have a proven record. You're getting 90 people at this event. It's our most, you know, biggest moneymaker of the whole weekend, apparently. So rock on." So he asked me to come to Atlantic City as well, and I haven't been in Jersey, so of course I said yes. But there is a Rocky Mountain Open in Colorado, March 22nd and 23rd, and I got asked to run that. So I'll be running that. So I got that all done. It's going to be the Blucifer Brawl, and should be a fun 2-day event if anyone wants to come to Colorado. But that was neat. Talk to him and get some insight into how everything's set up and all that's running around.
Well, that's cool.
I think that's it. Oh, I ended up just hanging out at the Rio for the rest of the day that day until I left for the airport. In the back corner, there's a weird area that has like shops and stuff, and they have a little Kiss museum. It's the saddest thing I've seen. It's because A, it's Kiss. I mean, and then B, nobody was there. And it's in like this whole wing where nobody was there. The casino was hopping, but there was nobody in this area. It was dead, and they had like games, like redemption games, and it was just sad. But then I hopped on a plane, came home, and that was LVO. It was a great weekend. There was no issues aside from, like I said, the sevens. I feel like the time was too quick. Maybe we got set up earlier. I didn't realize, but need to talk to him about that. I wish I had gone to walk around and seen some more stuff. I totally forgot they even had a vendor. Not only that, weird thing is they had a LVO exclusive Blood Bowl pitch. Nobody knew anything about it. You had to spend $800 at the Forge World store, and they would give you a pitch. Not only did they not
$800?
$800. Not only did they not tell Mark, the person running the Blood Bowl events, they didn't have anything at the booth about it either. We only found out because someone posted online. So I think they're going to have it at Rocky Mountain Open. Like they would
have sold more pitches if they would have just charged $200 flat.
Yeah, I know. And they look like the other ones, like the same style as the other ones. It's just the middle has a big BB logo instead of the Games Workshop Open event.
I got you.
So it's pretty crappy. But yeah, if you want me to buy you $800 worth of stuff at Rocky Mountain, I can, and you can probably get a pitch. Is that a no?
What's that?
I said, is that a no? You don't want me to buy $800 worth of stuff for you?
Why would I? Dude, it hurts my head.
I know. I don't get it.
Like, okay. I mean, it's just crazy.
No, I have no answer to it. It is insane. And the fact they don't even promote it, advertise it, or anything, why even bother? Communication, not the strong point.
Okay. So you had a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
LVO Sin City Bowl. I'm assuming it was called Sin City Sevens.
Yeah, believe so.
Okay. All right.
I believe I can't say, but if you want to go to Vegas for Blood Bowl, there will be more opportunities this year. Keep an eye out.
Okay.
But that's another state off my list.
But
Then I got
sneak Cokes into your
hell
bag.
yes. Hell to the yes. Hell, do that and sell it to people. You'd make money.
Oh,
I'd pay $3.
yeah, just get one of those carts and say this is my Warhammer army, but it's really a cooler.
The
And
amount of crap that people took in, like, it's insane. I'm so glad we play Blood Bowl. I can take
uh,
one small thing and that's it.
it really is amazing some of the transport devices and the wheelie carts and everything
Mm-hmm.
that people for their giant armies. And like, yeah, we're lucky that we have some little miniatures and a cardboard or rollout field, and that's it, because
And
some of these guys do transport a lot of stuff. And I always, when I see those things, I always wonder, every one of these events somebody accidentally breaks something
yeah,
and has to totally replace it, and I always
they
wonder how much they get off that.
they did have repair stations, so that was cool. I did walk around some and look at the main games being played and the side tables and stuff like that. Um, but where I don't know the games at all, it didn't really mean anything to me. And if I was staying at the, I don't know, I don't even know about that. I was gonna say if I was staying at the Rio, then I might just go up, put my stuff in the room, and then come back down. But it's so big, I don't know if I would. Like,
That's fair.
but anyways, next time I'll check more stuff. If Rocky Mountain Open has Forge World, I'll check it out for you.
Well, I'm just kind of, I'll tell you about the little dumb items and stuff I want
I've already
off
had
of.
I had two people today message me about am I going to Adepticon? I was like, yeah. Can you pick up this one figure? I was like, I can look. Same figure. I guess it just got released. I don't know what it is. It's some Nazi looking guy with extra arms.
For Warhammer.
No, something else.
Hmm.
I don't know what it is. Like I said, but I had Mosier and a guy from Portugal. Not Portugal, Malta, I believe. I think it's the guy who's running the Malta event.
Hmm.
If he gets it. Gene Stiller cult, First of the
Oh,
Faithful.
okay.
Okay, he doesn't look like a Nazi. It's confusing him. Looks like an alien with guns and extra arm. I don't know. But yeah, people want him. I got two people telling me to look for him if I go somewhere. Like, I will.
I get first dibs for Steve to mule stuff back, not you
You
guys.
got to tell
Sorry.
me. I'll look.
I know. All right. I guess we'll wrap this up then, and we'll come back with some downings. Is that
Yeah, sounds
the
good.
plan?
If you can
All
make it to
right.
LVO, it's a great time. The only negative is, and this is the only Frontline Gaming event that apparently does this, you got to pay a fee to get into the main event and then pay a fee to play the game. That sucks. But
Okay.
that
Let
is
me
what it
ask
is.
then, how much was it to get into the event, and then how much was it for the event?
I think it cost me 110 total, something like that. So I think it was 60 for the event and 50 for the Blood Bowl. I'm not gonna lie, like
Was there
it's
like a ton of raffles and stuff?
there was some good raffle items. So
Did you have to buy tickets, or did?
you were given a ticket and you could buy raffle tickets, and Mark didn't make that clear. I don't know that everybody knew, um, but I didn't. It wasn't anything
What's
I
it?
needed.
Did you feel like you got $110 worth?
Don't
I
ask
mean,
that.
let's not call it
How could I?
LVO.
How could
Let's
I?
just, huh?
How could I?
Okay. That's all I'm
Now
asking.
look, I absolutely had a blast. It was a 6 game event. It was Vegas. I got to hang out with Doug. I got to see Mark. I got to see a lot of people. I had a ton of people coming up and just like, "Hey man, love the podcast," or "Hey, where's Scott?" or "Hey, I really thank you for putting on the World Cup bid." All this. That's amazing. $110 worth. I got dice and a
Okay.
coin. I got dice and a coin.
I'm not
And
saying
again,
that you have to go to events and pay
yeah,
$40 or $30. You come back with $30 worth of product. I'm not saying that at all. I was just curious. That's it.
and that's
And I'm
why
not trying to badmouth
no.
anything or anybody. And these events are made for people to get together and see your brothers and your gaming brothers and
Yeah.
sisters and everything, and just have a great fellowship time. I'm not knocking that. I was just curious.
No, and I 100% understand that, and that's why I put that out there. It's not for everybody. Like, I get it, but I felt it was fun. To me, it's on that cusp. Like, if I had been there before, like now that I've gone, am I now willing to spend 110 to go next time? I do not know. It
Was
was
there
worth it this
like,
time for me.
you know how traditionally Blood Bowl tournaments have like 10 little goofy trophies that we trickle down and
Yeah,
stuff like
there
that?
was plenty of
Did they
those.
still they did all that stuff? Okay.
Yeah, and they did
Um
have really so Frontline Gaming put up some trophies for them, and they were really cool. So they had like wood plaques with the logo and what it was and
I
everything.
was just
So
curious because the one event I went to down in Texas, they're definitely not used to the Blood Bowl crowd, and they had to make do with what they got. So that's all I was asking. I didn't
right.
mean it. I didn't mean it to come off negative at all.
No,
I
it
was
didn't
just
come
really
off
curious
negative.
on
I mean,
price.
it's a valid question. That's why I put it out there. It's like to each their own.
See, in my brain, if you told me, you said it was 110 maybe dollars. If you'd have told me like, yeah, we're going to the LVO and it's $100 to get into the con, I go, well, how much is the event? And you're like, oh, it's free.
I
That
would
sounds
be.
so much better.
It does to me too. Like I said about the the whole cinnamon roll and Coke. Right. I'm not paying $6 for a Coke, but I'll pay $4 for a soda and $6 for a cinnamon roll. I
Right,
have no
I
issue with
get you.
that.
I totally get you. That's all I'm
So,
saying.
sort of along these lines, unfortunately, and I'm glad I didn't make plans to go, I was thinking about going to the War Games in Atlanta, February 8th, I think. And the problem was the entrance was 125 or something like that. Now you got catered lunch on both days and dice and all this, but still that was a high price. And that the main reason I didn't end up going was the flights just didn't work out easy to where I could not have to take a full day on Monday or something. Um, Unfortunately, that got canceled because of low ticket sales because of the price. So there's a fine line you have to understand, and you know, I'm hoping we get a ton of people at this Rocky Mountain Open. It's $50 for 2 days. Now I'm getting
Mm.
custom dice made. I'm getting custom trophies made. I think they're going to give us trophies as well. I'm going to try to make it as worthwhile as possible. They're going to give us stuff to raffle off. But if people tell me I'm not paying $50 for a 2 day event where I don't get anything special, okay, I get it. To each their own. Everybody's different, but
Sure, I get it.
try, got to do what we
Anyways,
can. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I should have asked that question at the very beginning. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's fine. No, it's
Okay.
again valid and something we should discuss.
All right. Let's before we go on another tangent, let's go ahead and take a quick break here. We'll come back with some downies.
It's that time of year where we talk about the previous year. It's the 2024 edition of the Downies, even though it's 2025.
Yay!
Yeah, I
I
guess,
wonder if anybody likes these really.
dude, everybody likes everything we do.
Everything we do?
Someone likes everything we do.
Oh, that is scary.
I had someone tell me they loved the recaps. And I feel bad about doing the recaps and taking so long, but they're like,
Oh
"No, man, I
man.
loved it. I get to live vicariously through you." I'm like,
You had
"Okay."
some like weird Kilowoggy stand.
I mean, I have multiple. Everybody loves me,
Ooh,
don't you know?
man, I don't understand
Isn't that what
why.
bothers? People love you too. You just don't get out enough to have people tell you. It's hard to hear that when you go to the same 5 tournaments with the same 10 people.
Well, you know what? If you'll just come over here and make my kids. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah.
be gone soon, maybe. Ish.
Yeah, with this economy, I'm sure they're just going to leap out of the nest and get their own place. Maybe buy a house, get a job at the lumberyard, and buy their own house. While their other spouse doesn't have to work, they can raise the kids.
I mean, they'll
Sounds
both just go to college, right? And get a high paying tech job or something.
right. Just get a high in debt ratio. Yeah. Anyways, let's move. Let's talk something joyous, and that is the years past
Yes,
or the
sir.
year past. So if you're listening to it the first time, the Downies are just kind of a reflection of the previous year. And since both down is two people, we do the top two this, the top two that, the top two this, and it's just a reflection of the year. Sometimes our answers are probably, if you went back, they'd probably be the same every year on some of these. And
I don't know. I try to keep them different. Also, there's 11 questions because that's Snuffle's number.
oh, I was wondering why we had 11.
Wow, man. Fluff, come on.
Okay. Uh,
Oh, that was one thing I wanted to tell you. We might, yeah, mind. I'll keep them shout outs.
okay. Write a note though, because
I'm
now you
writing a
piqued
note.
my interest. Okay. All right. So you want to start with the list here?
Yeah, I
Number
finished my note.
one.
Oh, you want me to do it? Okay. Top.
Oh, I can
I
do
don't
it. I
know. We
don't
don't
know.
know what we're
The
doing.
top two tournament trips we went on. Now, Steve had,
A lot.
I had like 9 possible trips, I think, out of this because I played, I think, in 12 events
Okay.
last year. Now, 3 of those were at Chaos Cup. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I went to 11 overall ranked NAF events, whether it was in
Wow.
Gutter Bowl or Sevens or anything like that.
Is that not
And
including Oklahoma and Spiky?
what's that?
Is that including Oklahoma and Spiky?
It is including Spiky because I played like 1 round,
Okay.
but not Oklahoma Bowl. But yeah, this doesn't count events I ran. I'm just talking about what I played in. I'm sure it's about 14 with events I ran and stuff like that. So 3 of them were during Chaos Cup weekend, and 2 of them were during the Texas Open weekend. So didn't travel quite as much as you did
No,
because I'm not crazy.
not many people have. Like, even the guy who probably traveled the most in Europe, I think he went to just an ungodly amount of tournaments. But I bet I still traveled more miles or kilometers than he did.
Oh, probably so. All right. Top 2 tournament trips we went on. I'll let you go first, Mr. Traveler.
Well, I'm going to cheat on a lot of these, but that's just how it works. Um, for one, was my North and South Dakota trip
Okay.
because it was just awesome, just being on my own and got to see Devil's Tower, Mount Rushmore, and Rapid City, and
We
sort of
renamed those anyways the Dakotas of America. It's just one
right.
area now.
Um, and then it was just a fun trip to go on my own, and just it was a long drive, but it was just neat. And then being able, since they were my first 2 events in the Bison as well, it was really awesome to see so many people come out to North Dakota. And then I won South Dakota, so that also
Okay.
helped. It did suck on the way back when we were under tornado warning, but I got back home before that, so I didn't have to worry about it. But that was my number one. There was a lot of other ones that pretty much every trip I had was great. So, um, but the other 2 special ones, and I'm adding both of these together because they're both basically Canada, Ottawa and Spike. It was just amazing to go to Ottawa to do that whole trip, get to see the downtown area, play at Oracle, and then Spike, being able to go up the coast and see all Seattle and Vancouver and play at Spike. So those are my 2 or 3.
Uh, that's okay. My top 2, and this is probably really based more on company than maybe the trip overall. Lubbock. Me and Gary usually travel out to Lubbock together and get to stay with our buddy Dylan out there. So that always helps because it doesn't cost us a fortune. But we now have like a standard little pattern of like comic stores we hit and restaurants we hit. So it's a nice little getaway that we're starting to become more and more familiar with as we go. So I'm proud to say the Lubbock trip, even though like Lubbock, Texas really is boring, but the trip I always have a great time on, and the company's always good as well. And then this was an awful trip, and at the same time, it was one of my top two tournament trips. It was Nebraska. Um, Used to when Jennifer played Blood Bowl, she would go to every event, with me, and we don't do that so much now with her own business, and it's for her to get away and stuff like that. It's just become less and less over the last couple of years. So Nebraska was a surprise trip that only we knew about. You didn't know about it.
Hmm.
Nobody else knew that we were showing up there. Um, it was a very boring drive once we got past Wichita, Kansas. But
Nebraska's pretty boring drive, no matter where.
yeah, but looking back, it was just a good time to spend with her. There's something about just being on the road with your buddy
Hmm.
who you can listen to some tunes to and have sometimes conversations, and sometimes you just sing songs together. And it was a good bonding trip for that. And so that is why Nebraska is boring, man. It
Yeah.
is boring. Uh, but anyways, those are my two trips that I went on last year.
See, that was a fun one because of Craig. I wish we would have stuck. The only bad thing is if we'd known you were coming, we would have gone back the next day.
I understand,
But
and
I get it. It is what it is.
it would have ruined the surprise though.
Totally get it. And then hanging out with Austin and Austin going up to Montana, that was amazing too. Like all travel's awesome. I enjoy traveling. Period. So next question we got top two tournaments we went to and why. You can go first.
I'm gonna put these are kind of unfair because I picked them. I realized I picked these events, and then I was like, "Oh, you like those because you did
You
really
won
well at them."
Nebraska and no.
So Nebraska is one of them. The Bison tournament in Nebraska was one of my fun events. I think it was because I was coming off of being sick,
Mm-hmm.
and just stayed in my one area. I wasn't worried about. I just sat and played games, and I didn't have a clue that I won the tournament until Henry Wisniewski said, like, "I think you won," and I'm like, "What the hell do you mean?" and all this stuff. So it was refreshing in that way, but I also just kind of stood in my little corner where the fan was blowing and everything, and
It's kind of weird, isn't it, when you sit at the same place for a whole tournament? It just makes that tournament so much better.
I mean, it's all familiar territory. I didn't
Yeah.
have to move my crap. I didn't lose anything like I lost stuff at Chaos Cup because I don't know if I mentioned it last. I think I lost my little ball, like the little, how everybody uses the little token that goes underneath the miniatures
Yeah.
now. I believe I lost that during Chaos Cup as well.
Jeez.
I, yeah. So,
At least it's not a
anyways,
pitch.
what's that?
So at least it's not a pitch.
No, it's not a pitch. The Deuces Wild tournament at the Texas Open. This was the team event with me and John Spurgeon working together as a team. I just thought we really, John's really easygoing. I'm probably not so easygoing, so we worked well together. We had zero problems as a team. We discussed what we played, and we just went and we both played good that day. We fell short, but we had some great matches. So it just felt like a very good, solid tournament performance overall as a team and as two individuals. So
Texas Open is Frontline Gaming, isn't it?
I have no idea.
I think it is. And I think Drew's running that this year.
He ran the Deuces Wild. Him and I believe Jason Campbell ran the events last year too.
Okay. Yeah, whatever the Frontline Gaming one is in Texas, I believe Drew's running that, but I haven't got that confirmed yet. So mine,
No, you already answered yours.
2 tournaments I went to.
I thought you did.
No,
I'm out of. Okay, go for it.
we're
Top two
alternating.
tournaments you went to.
Oracle Cup was awesome. Just being able to see that many people in one place again is awesome, and it's a lot of people I haven't seen in a long time. It was a great venue. It was great seeing everybody at the bar the previous night playing sevens. Um, just a great time. And I got to play goblins, and I pitch glued a halfling team. So I didn't do great, but I had fun. Surprisingly, the other tournament I also played goblins, Underworld. So we've heard about Underworld for years, and it's always been very daunting to us because of the progressive build and how big they get.
Correct.
So that's why I just took goblins, and I had a great time. And it's not just the games are fun, but being just hanging out with everybody at Saul's house, it's just a great time. Slurpee Bowl's right there too, but that was more the hanging out with everybody at the Airbnb than it was the event. Event was fine. I didn't do so hot, but I had more fun with the goblins. I think I might be a goblin coach. Might be a goblin coach. They're fun.
No, you're not. No,
They're
they're
fun.
not. They're terrible.
They're fun. I don't
Not at
have to
all.
care. All I have to do. Hthark got the ball, and I blew him up. Like that's a great day. So
Okay.
just saying.
Okay. What else we got here? Top two tournaments not attended.
So for this is a hard one every year. I try to keep it not the same every time because we could always default to just the standbys. So I said Nova and Adepticon. And why did I put those on there? Because I'm going to both this year.
Oh, look at you.
So Nova's going to be in DC. Get a check mark that. And Adepticon's in Wisconsin this year. So get a check mark that.
Oh, that's why you're going to Adepticon this year.
Well, also yes. I mean mainly it's that. But if we're doing Oklahoma in June, which is the last Sunday in June, which need to finalize that, need to get the rules done, need to get the logo, got a lot of stuff to do, but we at least have the date finalized. It's going to be the last weekend of June, barring some catastrophe. That means March is open, which means Adepticon is available. It's the first time going to a new venue in Wisconsin, so get to go to Milwaukee. It'll be fun.
Oh, my top two tournaments probably are really based on like watching you from afar. Um, and there was at one point talking about me trying to go out to Slurpee with you this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Slurpee makes this tournament question on the Downies about every other year for me. But this year I really felt like I was missing out not going to Slurpee, seeing that you got to go. So Slurpee is number one, and I kind of felt the same way with the Spike tournament. It's a major in North America, even though it's on the other side of kind of where we're at. I mean, I guess it's no further now than Florida is.
And it's about the same,
Um,
yeah.
but so Slurpee and the Spike magazine tournament are my two tournaments that I didn't attend, but I wish I would have.
Okay. Top two favorite themes or rules at tournaments last year.
I'm going with, and this sounds terrible because I'm gonna toot my own horn. And at the same time, I was violently angry at my own tournament rules. Critter Bowl. I still think it's a very easygoing tournament set, and at the same time, the random balls that do, the Nurgling ball, the baby troll ball, and stuff like that can
Mm-hmm.
baby dragon egg ball. All these things can wreak havoc on your team if you're playing Kimmery and you cannot pick up the ball. But it is still one of my favorite. It's one of the tournaments that I run that I really hope there's odd number of people so I can play. And it's also for a good cause, but I really hope I can play just for the whole experiencing the balls and then going to a bowl game and all that stuff. So it's Critter Bowl for me, and Matador Melee is still one of my favorite tournaments to go to. Everybody, it's just by the chalk. I mean, like there's no tiers. It is what you have. Even this year, I was the only person to play Stunty. They do have a Stunty award, but the way the rule set was really heavy slanted towards like bashy teams and stuff. But at the same time, we didn't have to deal with tiers. And me and you go back and forth. We discuss this a lot. We're not like mad at each other,
No, not at
but
all.
we discuss it a lot about like how Blood Bowl's everybody's supposed to be on equal footing, and then there be other people go, well, other teams need more skills to compete and all this stuff. And Blood Bowl's not a fair game. And so Matador brings that rock scissors paper matchup back into Blood Bowl. But I just enjoy the rule set, the logo, the whole idea that it's kind of based off the Texas Tech Red Raiders. And every year I find myself enjoying the event when I go. So
Yeah, this was a hard one for me because again, rules and themes don't tend to be around much anymore. Most everything's just kind of straight. Um, so I kind of picked,
honorable mention for me would also be that Deuces Wild tournament, the little team event with only 2 players.
yeah.
So,
So
anyways,
I also kind of tooted my own horn, and I was going to say Knuffles Giving, but really that was just a turkey. But I love the turkey; thought it was really cool. Um, I liked Spiky this year with the 12 different coaches. Put a lot of work into that. I thought they were all unique and different, so that was fun. And then the other one really was SoCal Slam, I believe, and just because they had a wizard, and they have a different wizard. It's the same wizard, but he just changes each year. I guess he gets older, but he had a guitar this year, and he could do a thunderball. And one of the guys dressed up as the wizard at the end to do the awards. So I thought that was cool.
that's cool. Top 2 Blood Bowl items we acquired last year.
Mine are Blood Bowl adjacent, so I'll start off there. One is my luggage that I have for my flights. After worrying about Frontier checking my bag, I bought one of those take off bags where you can take the wheels off and it fits perfectly in their size thing. So, A, that's cool. And it saved me a couple $100 so far because they check bags. But also, it's become one of my favorite things because I've just slathered that thing with stickers. So every time I get new stickers, I put it on there, and it's just
See, that's what I need. I need something because you go to these events and people hand you stickers. And,
yeah,
when I was a kid, I had this cabinet that I put stickers all over.
yeah,
But I don't have anything like that. I don't feel like I have anything like that now. So I hold on to the stickers,
yeah.
hoping to get something to put the stickers on.
Well, see, that's the whole thing. It's like when I got the bag, I was like, do I want to keep this clean or do I want to add a couple of stickers? Because I tend to be as cluttered as my stuff tends to be. It's usually organized, but I do like stuff. Like I have stuff on my walls, there's stuff on shelves. I like to display stuff. So I knew if I started putting stickers on there, also if I put a sticker on there, it ruins it. Then I never have it again.
Right.
But that was I'm like, otherwise, what do I do with them? They just sit and never get used. Um, so once I started doing that, it's just been a ton of fun. I enjoy seeing it build up, and the front is reserved for us and the other Blood Bowl podcasts and major tournaments and stuff. And the back is just everything else. And then the sides are getting there. And I've started to notice some of them getting battle damage, and I'm starting to have to cover some up. And I think it's just cool. And it's a nice thing. Like, I like to post it to the community too, so that people see the progression of it. And then we also got, and I'm taking credit for this because I physically have it, but it's to both of us. We got a Christmas card from Pedro Ramos. So I thought that was really cool.
Nice. My 2 items, I guess, and I'm sure you can go back in the podcast and find me jerking off about something else more. But this is coming to mind right now, maybe because I just painted most of this team. The vampire team. Now that I have them painted and stuff, I and even, I gave them a good finish spray today so I could play with them. I really like how they look. And I don't know if it's my paint job or the minis, but I'm really happy I acquired them and even bought the second team to get the extra thralls for my uses because somebody needs 16 thralls just in case you play with 16 thralls.
Of course.
So I'm going with the vampires. With that, I think they have one of the best. Do we need the pitches? No. but they always come out with a pitch. And though the like hall that they have with the checkered board and
Yes.
everything, I think
I
it's a
played on
beautiful.
that and I loved it.
It is a beautiful, beautiful pitch. So I'm throwing those kind of together. And then one of my favorite items that I just got at like going to a tournament, of course I paid for it. I paid extra, but I don't mind, is the dice cups. And I do you know who made the dice cup for Chaos Cup? Because
It was Jack from Maelstrom.
I love those dice cups. I
He
love
same.
those dice cups. I love those dice cups, but I use a dice cup all the time. And every year, if there's available, whether I need one or not, I'm going to buy a dice cup.
Hmm.
So I just enjoy them. I love the feel of them. I like how they fit my hand. They're just the perfect size. Dice cup from Chaos Cup. That was the thing I came home the most excited with from Chaos Cup. After all the other stuff I got, that's the one that I keep going to.
It
Even
feels
looked at
weird
it
that I'm a
today.
Dice Cup guy now, but I am.
What's that?
I said it feels weird that I'm a Dice Cup guy now, but I am.
I know. I used to make fun of them too. So top two personal achievements in Blood Bowl this year. I'll go ahead and take this one first.
All right.
I got to my 300th ranked NAF game,
Nice.
and this is just playing. This is just the Blood Bowl stats, so this is classic in the current stuff. This is not counting sevens or online games or anything like that because it's going to show that I had more. But it kind of felt cool that my first game ever ranked was at Chaos Cup, and it just so happened my 300th game was round 6 at Chaos Cup this previous year. Now, while I was not happy with the results at Chaos Cup overall, it was still really kind of a closing. I don't know why 300 feels like the closing of stuff. I took the last 100 games of those ranked games as serious as honestly as I could. I didn't just make up some team and go, screw it, I'll just try this. I really was trying to win some games because I was keeping track of like every 100 games, like, can I improve? I think I'm to the stage where like if I keep continuing that, I'm going to put pressure on myself and it will not be fun.
Yeah.
So I've already kind of like told myself we're abandoning that idea. We're going to try to do some fun things. So, anyways, the 300th ranked game, the fact that it was at Chaos Cup and the last round was just really, it felt complete for me. I almost, for real, thought like I could walk away and be happy. I don't, it's just started here, 300 games here. I don't know why 300 is like the magic number. Maybe early on we heard people talk about I played 300 games in ranked games. I don't know where we got that, but it feels kind of magical.
Yeah.
And then winning without knowing I won my 10th tournament up there at your Bison tournament. I mean, just it was shocking. I couldn't believe I did it. I took Chaos Chosen. Still can't believe I did it with Chaos Chosen. I can't believe I have two of my tournament. I have 10 tournament wins total, and I know other people have 25 of them or more. That's fine. I'm not the best player in the world, but I'm happy that I have 10 tournament wins, and two of them were Chaos Chosen of all races, which is so weird. Like
Yeah.
you don't expect that. So that just proves that some days you have stuff go your way, even when you shouldn't. And it's Blood Bowl's a weird game, man. It's just weird. So those are my two.
So funny enough, I am at 300 NAF games that are not stunty. So like I'm exactly 300, which is interesting.
That is weird.
Um. So let me get back to this. So one of my achievements was I went to 26 different events last year. I
Uh-huh.
only played in 18 because I was running the others or Chaos Cup. I mean, I was there, but yeah. But still, getting to go to 26 tournaments, that's half of the weeks of a year. So that was pretty cool. And then the biggest thing is winning Rocky Mountain Rampage. And the bigger thing about that was I made my decision and I made my team and I played them like I wanted to. I took Imperial Nobility, and everybody was like, take 4 guard on the bodyguard, take 4 guard on the bodyguard. I'm like, I don't play that well with guard. I want to frenzy because I play better with frenzy. And there's 38 people, so it's a sizable event. But yeah, I won the whole thing, used my roster that everyone said was weird, and apparently the guy who won the Blood Bowl 3 World Cup or World Championship with nobility had frenzy. So, just putting that out there.
I still disagree with it, but okay.
Everybody does.
I mean,
Oh,
I'm
speaking
actually
of,
sold on one guy with frenzy. I would not
yeah,
put multiples. So
I play better symmetrically. I can totally accept one though. I'm fine with that argument. So, running back just to LVO for a second, Mike Patterson won with humans.
I was
How
going to
am
ask you what was his build.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's Mike Patterson. He has magic dice. He just pitch clears his people. I don't get it. It's humans, but whatever.
Yeah,
Um, and then Mark ended up winning sevens with frenzy on his nobility as his one skill. And that was because I told Neb to take it. Neb won the last sevens with it. So, Imperial Nobility, sevens with frenzy. Game changer.
sure.
Okay, well, you try it. With all your
With a bodyguard
sevens.
with a frenzy.
Yes, stand firm in frenzy, dude. It's a smaller pitch.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying like it's fine.
Okay. Um, top 2 Blood Bowl games of the year. I'll go first since you went first last. Winning Rocky Mountain Rampage, obviously, because that was a hard fought game, and I thought I lost it because I filled in a space. All I had to do was push a gutter runner back one space, and I'd win. And I just wanted an extra die, so I ended up filling the space that I was going to push him into, and I had to push him sideways, and he scored. And I just remember texting everybody. I'm like, I fucking lost it. I lost it. I screwed up. I'm an idiot. Blah, blah, blah. And I was able to pull it out and still win. So that was amazing. And then I will admit that I cheated on this game unknowingly. Didn't mean to. Apparently, some of my players don't have dodge like I think they do, but whatever. SoCal Scramble. That's what it was, SoCal Scramble. Very last game, played against a guy, and I told him, hey man, just so you know, I'm going to try to score as much as possible because only thing I can win is most touchdowns. He's like, okay, well, I'm going to try to hurt you as much as possible. I'm like, please do. And I ended up winning 6-0. So, and that was me just like pushing every drive, doing crazy stuff, getting it to work. Jordell just going wild. So that was a ton of fun. And again, I do admit I cheated, but whatever. Blood Bowl, you're allowed to cheat if you get away with it.
No, you're not.
Yes,
You
you are.
shouldn't do that.
I shouldn't, but I did.
My 2 top games of the year, I think I'm just gonna go with I hate doing this because you're gonna like get a big head, but the Bison tournament. Again, I not feeling so great. Traveled up there. It's a boring trip, even though I had a good time with my lady. Um, I think it was game 2 that I played with the Amazons. I think they were called like get it, they're Amazon drivers and they have driver names and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. And it was in the rain, and these Amazons were kicking the ever loving crap out of me. And I was just trying to keep it cool and just keep playing my game. And sure enough, I came back, and that was the game where I think I dodged away in the rain, picked up in traffic in the rain, dodged away in the rain, and then did my 2 go for it's to come back and win a game that by all means I should have lost. And so I was really proud of that game. And then in game 3, I played Aaron Wisniewski. His dwarves, he had the Troll Star player, and I had Skitter, and that game was back and forth, and he happened to tackle my ball carrier, and the ball bounced right to my beastman, who some reason picked up the ball, even though he was around a bunch of people. I scored right as time ended to tie the game, which was enough to pull me through to get first place. Sometimes you got it's better to be lucky than good.
Oh yeah.
I will take it. And I just from memory, those are the two games I could think of that were like won or tied, or that tie really feels like a win because it led me to win the tournament. But so they felt like wins to me that I can remember from the previous year. I won games, but I don't remember winning stuff on the last play of the game is what I'm trying to get at. So
Yeah.
those would have to be my top two Blood Bowl games that I can remember of the year. Top two worst games or tournament experiences of the year.
Mine are both majors. So Chaos Cup for not being able to play Chaos Cup and getting in at 3 in the morning, and the roommate not putting my name on his room and not having a place to sleep and having to bug Craig, and then just again not being able to play. So that sucked horribly. Um, and then at Spike, you know, first or second game, maybe even first game. Um, Getting ready with my nobility, going up against an Amazon team, and the guy just fouls every single turn, and he's peeling me off. He legit fouled, what was it, 13 or 15 times, and only got caught on like two of the last three. And at that point, it didn't matter. And it was so bad. Like at one point, he'd removed my people. I go on my next turn. I go to activate something. Immediately skull, skull, reroll into skull, skull. And I'm just like, fuck it. You play. I'm done. Slammed the dice down. I'm like, I'm out. Just play. I trust you. I'll be back later. And I just had to leave, calm down, come back, and be like, look, sorry. I don't normally get that way. He goes, no, man, I get it. Totally get it. You want me to buy you a beer? I'm like, I don't drink, but I get it. Um, and then like I said, that was just a horrible freaking game. I hated it.
Man, you went full metal Scott there.
Oh, I did 100%.
Did everybody hate you when you went to go calm down instead of throwing a fit?
No, because there's only the one guy, and I apologized immediately. That was
Oh,
cool after
okay.
that.
Just curious.
Yeah, no.
My two worst games or tournament experiences of the year were, I'm going to say these, and I don't want anybody to think I had a bad like trip because I didn't have a bad trip. Chaos Cup started off wonderful, and I must admit that I also had super high, probably higher expectations. I really wanted to have at least 3 wins at Chaos Cup. I had goals of, it was my final 6 games in my last 100 before I got to 300. So I was hoping to get 3 or 4 wins, even though it was going to be really hard with Renegades. The weekend started off wonderful, having some success in sevens, and then the Chaos Cup continued to happen, and especially that last day playing the exact same Amazon teams with the exact same skills, same star players, same play style, and everything worked out pretty much the same. I mean, it was like people fouling and people getting removed off the pitch. It was just really frustrating. The frustrating dinosaur matchup I had. Um, it was again. I think maybe my expectations were a little too high. If you're going to play Chaos Renegades, you probably should go in there with a little smile on your face and just go, it's gas packed. It can do anything crazy with these 3 big guys. But
Yeah, but dribble and drool was so annoying. And then to face them back to back, and then one of your opponents not using his regular figures, and the ceiling dripping on you,
oh
and them
yeah,
not turning
oh
their figures around. No, I get it.
all that, and then Gutter Bowl. I know they're saying this is the first one, but it's the second one, whether they want to admit it or
They
not.
did admit it.
Winning the first Gutter Bowl the one year and then coming back and playing. I played the same team, and I'm not really frustrated. 3 ties are 3 ties. It's Gutter Bowl. It's just dice a lot of times. But I thought I had a poor performance in that too. So,
Yeah.
and I had expectations to do better in that. So, overall, Blood Bowl wise, I was very unhappy with myself at Chaos Cup. And then the Critter Bowl, the last one I threw when I played with Kimry, I wanted to break my Kimry figures. And for a second, I thought maybe I should just do it because if they ever come out with Tomb Kings, Kimry, or whatever, they're going to have new models. I'll probably like them better anyways. And these dumb skeleton models are so anyways. And oh, it was such a frustrating day. The stupid dragon egg ball kept blowing up every time I dropped it. And of course, only my guys got the fireball and everybody else stood standing. It was a super frustrating day for me. So
You should take it out on whoever made those rules.
yeah, whoever the jerk TO was that did that, and then that same jerk who made me play Tomb Kings, screw you. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing being the best legendary team going like 0 for 2 as well. So, but whatever. Sometimes Blood Bowl be Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
Top 2 most or least favorite races played this year.
I played gnomes twice. I
And
dislike
those are the
gnomes twice.
most favorite or least favorite?
Least by far. I don't like gnomes. I don't get it. They're not my favorite. I do like the fox. Like, there is something there, but I think it's the same thing with halflings. I just don't like that one little movement less is just enough to mess with me, and I don't like it. But I was enjoying nobility. Obviously, winning Rocky Mountain Rampage, going 4-2 at Spike, and winning the Spike 7. I got nothing to complain about there.
Yeah, is this question am I supposed to get the top 2 most favorite
No,
races and the least 2 favorite races?
no, or there is an or
Or
there,
okay,
most or
then
least. So I
I'm
did
gonna
one of
go.
each.
I'm
You can
gonna
do
ride
either.
the Bison train here and go. I really enjoyed playing the Chaos Chosen. I love how those models look. I always I always want to play with the Claw Warrior. There's a Chaos Warrior with the
Mm-hmm.
claw. I have an alternate model, but I always feel obligated to play with that Chaos Warrior with claw. And yes, I always give him claw, even though it costs a skill and it's not very effective. Like it was in that tournament, it wasn't effective at
And it
all.
has a great
But
name, the Inevitable City Rampage.
yep. So it helps that they won. So
Yeah.
that was my favorite. And even though I finished more wins than losses in league play, and I finished third overall in the league play with Goblins, I still hate Goblins. Hate them, hate them, hate them.
Yeah, I'm just going to differ. I love goblins. They're fun.
Man, if I try to play every team under the new set of rules, like kind of like the 24 that we used to do,
Yeah.
I still have Goblins on my list. And I just, part of me is like, just play them this weekend and get it over with.
I don't get why they're not. They're just so much fun.
Oh, they're
But
not fun at
yeah.
all.
So top 2 places we ate at tournaments this year. You can go first.
Ooh. You want me go?
Yeah, that's what I said. You go first.
Okay. Um, 2 places in Lubbock, and then I got an honorable mention. Uh, actually, that's probably not true because the one place I think about more than I think about the other. So first in Lubbock, Texas, Atomic Lounge and Pizza Kitchen. They have some wonderful pizza. I talked about it in the podcast. We had some different. They're not your traditional pizzas. They have those, but they had some like weird pizzas too. And I
Mm-hmm.
can't remember the 2 we got. One of them had like a blackberry sauce on it, which and some ham and stuff. It was marvelous, marvelous, marvelous. And I was sad that I didn't get to go to the tournament in Lubbock, Texas this past weekend, honestly, because I wanted to go to this place to eat. So that is number 1. And I can't wait to whenever I do go back to go to this place and eat. What was the dumb place with the cabbage meat sandwiches in Nebraska?
Oh
I wrote down Kringle, but I know it's not called
no,
Kringle. It's called something else.
man! And they have one here too.
Kretzel?
No,
Crustle?
God,
You're looking it up, I hope.
I am, but I don't know if I favorited it.
Put cabbage meat
Where
sandwiches.
was it? Nebraska.
Yeah. cabbage, meat,
Why is this weird?
fast food,
Let me see.
sandwich.
No, I didn't go there, so I didn't favorite it.
Runza.
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 Yes.
Runza.
Yep.
Strangely enough, I've thought about this like sandwich quite often over the last 2 months. Like, kind of wish there was one at least in Texas so I
Mm-hmm.
could get one closer.
I
So
am
I
very
guess I
happy
must
that
have.
the last time, because I went to one here, and it
Uh,
was not good.
okay.
So it erased that desire from me. But I was the same way until I had it again. I was like,
Okay.
I'm good.
Well, I would like to go to another good Runza place just to get it. And it might be one of those things like, do I really think In N Out burgers are great? No, but I don't get them that often. So when I go to Texas, I get one and I think
Yeah.
they're great. And this might be the same thing. So those are my two. The honorable mention I have, though, there is a place called Kokio's. I think it's called Korean Chicken or something like that. It's down the street from Stormcrow Games in Lubbock. I really enjoy that place as
Huh.
well. So that's my honorable mention.
Who knew? Lubbock, Texas, the food capital of the
Well,
world.
when you only go to like 6 places a year, you only get 6 places a year.
Not
I
wrong.
mean, trust me, I enjoyed going to the places we did in Florida.
Yeah.
Giordano's Pizza. What's the other place?
Hubcaps or something.
No, the hot dog place. Like, I want to say
Oh,
Ponchos,
Portillo's.
Portillo's.
Yeah.
I enjoy those, but those didn't. If you told me you can pick food from like all your places, I
Mm-hmm.
just told you the two that I would like food to like teleport to me right now so I could eat it.
All right. So I got two runner-ups that I wanted to mention, um, for different reasons. So there was a Indian place in Vancouver that was at the hotel, and it was high class, some of the best Indian food I ever had. It's just amazing quality. So that was really good. There's also an Indian place or Nepalese, I'm not sure, that I went to with Sean in North Dakota, and for whatever reason, when we were eating, I got really sick and couldn't eat anything. No idea what it was. So I took it back to the hotel room, and then I got to feeling better about 30 minutes to an hour later or whatever. And I had that food and I ate it and it was so damn good. Like, but it was weird. Um, I think I was just sick or something. Um, so for the top two, one was Piroshki in Seattle. And that was awesome just because Nick and I went there and um, got to eat like behind the restaurant in a little alcove. And it was a real neat experience. It was really good, kind of like a Runza, but better.
Okay.
Plus, it encapsulated the whole Seattle experience and going to the market. And then the Beaver Tail in Ottawa. Like, it's not a restaurant. It's not anything I did with anyone else, but it was one of my favorite moments of the year. Is I went out on my own, walking the Ottawa downtown area, found a beaver tail. It was amazing. It was like a funnel cake with caramel on it or whatever. And but just being able to sit there and really soak in what my life is now versus what my life was, and being so thankful and grateful for what it is. And it wasn't just the food. The food was great. There was a lot of good food, but just that moment of clarity of I get to do this with my life. If I died right now, I had a good life. And I plan to make it better, but still, even with what it was just a very, I won't say overwhelming, but like a moving experience, I guess.
Man, you sound like me like a couple weeks ago, and then January hit, and I'm like, oh God.
You got to find the light where you can. Then the final thing is what to. This is not a good question. This is really not a good question for the end, but whatever. Top two Blood Bowl items that were released this year. You go first.
Um, Going back to like the vampires, just the whole release of vampires. We were happy to get those.
Hmm.
So I put them in there and I grouped them all together: the pitch, the team, the dice, all that stuff. And then Chaos Cup this year offered a thinner traveling pitch.
Yeah.
Now, the thinner part doesn't sway me one way or another, but I keep hearing feedback from others who fold it. They're getting good results, like it's not staying curled up and all this stuff. So I do want to give a shout out to that because I think those might start taking over whether I like it or not. And I don't know if it even matters. I think I'm just used to the one pitch that's thicker, well, the thicker material. But the Gutter Bowl pitch that Jim also had at Chaos Cup, I thought was a nice addition.
Hmm.
I don't know if this counts because it's not released by GW, but at the same time, it was released. If for some strange reason I wanted to do a Gutter Bowl tournament, and of course I don't think there's going to be 50 people there, but it allowed me to buy an extra pitch. It was snowy. I'm kind of years ago, I remember Jeffro saying, I'm kind of a sucker for things that are like snowy pitches or ice pitches.
Hmm.
I'm kind of the same way too. I don't know if it's because growing up, my first favorite G.I. Joe figure was Snow Job because he came with skis and he could snow around on things. And my favorite little G.I. Joe vehicle, and ironically enough, I never had Snow Job. My friends down the street had it, so I had to go down to his house to play with that figure. But my favorite vehicle for the longest time in like GI Joe toys was the little snowmobile. So
Snowcat.
I don't know.
The
I've
snowcat or
always
the
had this
snowmobile?
thing with the snowy things. I love the Hoth scenes in Star Wars, the little diecast dioramas and stuff that we had as our age people. I love the Hoth stuff. So
Hmm.
I just don't know if it's a me thing, but I bought the Gutter Bowl pitch just because it was icy and it was Gutter Bowl. I don't even need it, but I bought it.
Hmm.
So there you go.
Now, do you mean the snowmobile or the snowcat?
The snowmobile
Oh, okay.
as the GI Joe vehicle.
Yeah.
I didn't have the snowcat either, but
Snowcat was cool. So I was putting gnomes as one of mine just because of the excitement that it brought to the community.
ooh,
But I did get the thinner Nuffle. Jack made a thinner travel version of the Oklahoma pitch from last year, and I use that to travel around with, and it makes a big difference because taking a regular pitch, even neoprene, takes up a lot of room in the bag. So having the thinner one, so much easier to travel with. So I'm going to replace gnomes with that. And then the it's something I didn't buy. I probably in retrospect I should have, but not really. I just thought it was cool that they actually did it. The re-release of the second edition figures. That came out of nowhere.
yeah, but was that last year or was that this year?
That was last year, wasn't it?
The humans, the
Yeah.
halflings.
Humans, halflings, and
I think it was the beginning of this year, my friend. I think we're getting our.
was it released? Was it previewed last year then?
I don't know. I mean, I'll let you. We'll slide it. That's
Okay,
fine.
well if not, then Vampire Pitch. Again, I don't own it, but it's one of the very few pitches that adds to the experience on playing. Because
Sure.
my go-to GW pitches that they've made, my favorite's the Elf Union pitch, just because it's so clean and so easy to see.
Agree.
But that vampire one, like you said, I played on it in New Mexico, and it feels like you're playing in the enclave of the hall and everything. It was really cool. So that'll be it for me.
Okay.
So that's it.
I guess that wraps us up.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't even talk about the release of the metal minis, which
Yeah. So that
let's
must
do
have been
that
this
really
year.
quick. Let's just
Yeah.
have a little thing right here, real quick. While I think it's kind of cool, did the molds get broke for the human blitzers because they're not giving us those?
I have no clue. Like I don't have.
Because if you notice in that, people are excited, like, oh, second edition humans. There's no blitzer models in there.
Yeah.
There's the old blocker models, the lineman models, the catcher models, the thrower models, but there is no blitzer model. So I really wonder if the old mold broke or something where they can't recast those.
Probably. But why choose? I don't
Why?
understand it. I don't
I don't know why
understand the
you would
choice.
choose humans if you can't give them a complete team to run for people of the current era to run. That's what I don't get.
The other one was halflings, and what was the third one?
It was Chaos Dwarves, which I
Chaos dwarves.
never thought they would do
Yeah.
that. So
So the chaos dwarves are really cool. I should have got some of those just to have extra, just because those are just fun. Halflings are always cool. They shouldn't be too hard to. I don't know. Second edition halflings are not easy to
did they
find
already take
anymore.
the orders and they're done
Yeah,
already?
I believe so.
Oh, that
Because
was
they were made.
quick.
Well, they were made to order. So they put it
Um,
out. They
do
only make as much as they order.
did you know how much they cost? Because I didn't check it
It
at
was
all.
more than I wanted to spend. I think it was 50
For
each,
5 figures.
something like that.
Okay. That's fine.
So
I
I
think
mean,
I do think it's great for people who maybe have just played Blood Bowl the last like
yeah,
8 years and they don't know. They're like, oh, these are really cool. I'm never going to have another chance to get them. Oh, I could add 2 of those halflings to my Old World Alliance team, and that would be cool. It gives me an excuse to buy some for
yeah,
that or whatever. So I think it's cool, and I'm glad people have the opportunities to buy them. I just found it weird that there was no human, human blitzers, and they didn't even address that. You think they would go like, "Wow, we know there's no human blitzers because the mold broke. You can use these human blockers as sub-ins for the current human team." But I
yeah. But
guess
that would be
nobody really cared.
GW talking in the first person, and they never do. They never give us information about stuff. Oh, that's another thing I did find out for sure with GW. The reason they don't put credits in for art and stuff anymore, it's the internet. You can't trust them because they make a rule change in 40K, someone doesn't like it, and then that person and even the communications people are getting death threats. So even if you put out art, someone didn't like it, modern volatility and anonymity just means that people can say the worst things possible, hide behind being anonymous, and just make everyone's life a hell. So they just don't put it out there. I was like, that's what I figured, and I totally expected.
Yeah, and I know our current perspective is not so good for humans, but I promise you, people, there's a lot of really good people out there. Unfortunately, it only feels like it shines through like holiday time and stuff. But
Or when
there-
tragedy happens. So shout
yeah,
out to the community. I put out there Trent Ford, who's a big Blood Bowl guy. He was an actor in Vampire Diaries, I believe. But he needed the whole wildfire was going on. He got relocated from his house. I don't know the state of the house, but they got relocated, and then he needed to have emergency surgery because his liver was. I think he's had a donor liver and it was having
oh wow,
issues. So, um, but he had a a modest goal that he tried to reach, and it blew past that goal many times. So
well, good.
I'm sure it wasn't all Blood Bowl people. He's got a wider range than that, but just knowing that there are some Blood Bowl people out there who are willing to help people in general, always great.
Right. All right. Well, before
Speaking
we
of,
keep going on tangents here, because we were only supposed to
yeah,
record, really short podcast tonight, and now it's
always.
probably close to 3 hours. So,
We got a 30-minute shout out coming up.
hey, exactly. So let's take a break. We'll come back with some shout outs.
It's the end of the show. Scott is tired and weepy and yawning, and it's the perfect time
Shout
for.
outs. How about
Yep,
that?
there you go. Yawning shout outs.
A yawning shout out. First off, I'd like to give a shout out to Pat Wynn. Pat, you know what you did for me and how you helped me out. And I don't really want to talk about it any further than that, but Pat was a really nice guy. We went to Chaos Cup. Pat lives in the Orlando area. And he helped me out with some things afterwards. So, anyways,
Did he
Pat,
give
thank
you a
you
bro job?
for the items, and I really appreciate it.
Did he give you a bro job?
Also, shout out to I'm going to give Eric from Chaos Cup the credit, but I think somebody else also heard about it. I think it was multiple people who sent this out, but maybe Eric is the one who either jump started it or the other guy jump started it. And Eric sent it. I don't remember, but they sent me new figures. You know how I said I was missing my miniatures from Chaos Cup. They sent those out to me, and I really appreciate that. So thank you for that too.
Did they give you bro jobs?
No, they didn't. I mean,
Okay.
they might if I asked them, if I was really nice about
Jeez.
it and maybe had a skirt on, but I didn't
Everybody
ask.
sends Steve stuff. Nobody sends me stuff. Wah, wah, wah. Look at that.
Oh,
Look
oh,
at that.
Steve.
All right.
Steve, how
What?
many people do you go sleep on their couch and, you know, help, cuck their wives with? You do this all the time when you go to these tournaments.
You're not supposed to tell people that.
Oh,
Jeez, dude.
Isn't that the deal? They email you and go, "Hey, there's a tournament locally," and then they put the winky face, and then you're like, "I know what I have to do."
It's cuckbull.
Yeah.
So shout out to everyone at LVO. Like I said, a lot of people came up to me and just appreciated the podcast, appreciated the World Cup bid, all that. So it's always great to hear. Um, then just everyone who's running stuff and Frontline Gaming for giving me an opportunity to run stuff for them. We got Chuck Tornow, Paperbag 4, who is running a charity tournament called the Second Sight Charity Cup. It is just outside of Detroit on March 1st. All proceeds are going to Victa, which is an English charity that provides support to children and with visual impairments. Not sure why it's going there. Didn't really ask. So it's going to be a 3-round tournament following the Euro Bowl rule set. So if you want to test out your roster, and they got a lot of raffle sponsors from Grebo, Pedro, Squigmeyer, other places. You don't have to be present to get tickets or to win raffle prizes. He'll happily ship them to you afterwards. For more information, you can find him just anywhere on Discord at Paperbag4, I believe. Also, his email is cwtornow, T-O-R-W, excuse me, CW Tornow, which is TORNOW at hotmail.com. And we'll be buying some raffle tickets shortly, just because why not? I sent him stuff from us, and it said it got delivered, but he didn't receive it, so I got to send him more stuff.
Maybe you never sent it.
No, I did. I just didn't get it. Speaking of Cuck Bowl, I am going to Kentucky next weekend, February 1st.
Ooh, who's the lucky couple that gets to?
So Craig is going with me.
Who is
so
willing to give and receive for
Ryan is
Steve?
Ryan's nice enough to put me up.
Ooh, that's
so
what we're calling it.
As
Putting me
cool
up.
as it is to go to the tournament and hang out with him and all this, I get to see the real life Justice Hall of Justice, because the Cincinnati Rail station is the basis for the Hall of Justice. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh yeah.
Oh, I've seen pictures of this just recently, so yes,
Yeah.
I do know what you're talking about.
We also have a new tournament series, GOATS. It's the Greater Ozark Area Tournament Series. Our buddy Joe Smith up in Missouri is running it. I don't know why I blanked on where he's from. Probably because there's 25 Smiths running
Wait,
around.
whoa. Let's go through that again. Say that again for me.
The whole
Because I
thing?
was not paying attention.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Joe Smith
is putting together a new tournament series called GOATS. It's the Greater Ozark Area Tournament Series. It's going to be Missouri, Arkansas, and Kansas.
Okay.
By the way, SCARS is just going to be Oklahoma and Texas now.
I mean, it doesn't matter. It should just be called Austin and
I know.
San Antonio. Although I probably just made people mad by saying that.
Yeah, whatever. So, some of his events coming up, they've got one March 8th in Springfield, May 3rd in Joplin, June 7th in Wichita, and July 12th in St. Robert, Missouri. You can go to Greater Ozarks Blood Bowl.wordpress.com. Most likely he'll be changing that to get rid of the WordPress soon, but he's just getting that started up. He's got an idea that I really like that we'll probably discuss on the next podcast, or maybe the one after the World Cup. Anyways, we'll see. And anything else?
I need to check those dates. kind of nice to go back up that way
Yeah,
again.
absolutely.
That was a
I
fun little road trip that me and Jen took too. So,
oh yeah, I am going to Adepticon. Um,
ooh, is Mueller gonna be the cuck this time?
I don't know. Didn't ask.
Oh,
I
okay.
just do what I'm told. And then March 8th, I actually
That makes you
decided
a
to
good
go.
bull.
Yes. Um, March 8th, I actually decided to go to Washington for a tournament. So
Dang, dude, you're gonna
that's
knock all these states out in about 2.5 years, aren't you?
that's the plan, yes. Before September of 27, for sure. So March Washington, I thought Adepticon was going to be, but Washington apparently is going to be my 25th state. So
Ooh,
that's pretty awesome. And should hopefully have information on patches soon. Just waiting on someone to finish the design. But
not me.
not you. So we did get an interesting thing in the mail the other day, and we got an email about it. And when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, awesome!" And then I saw what it was. I'm like, "Aw." But we'll have more about that on the next podcast. So that's just a tease.
Yeah,
Uh,
don't get excited.
no. Was there anything else you had before I had my final one? Because my final one's a little bit
I
longer.
was just gonna let you know, and I mean this to your whole staff with the World Cup, because I'm not associated with that. I think no matter where it goes, I hope you guys do your best not to be. If you're not chosen, let me tell you something. If I was not chosen after all the work from what it looks like you guys put into it, I'd probably be butthurt. What I'm trying to tell you
Yeah.
is don't be Scott and be proud that you gave a really good offering
Yeah.
with some great ideas. And no matter what, I think I speak with for at least every player here in America, and probably outside of America, because there is people who are rooting for us too.
Mm-hmm.
That y'all put in a really good bid, and if you don't happen to get it, I hope that in years down the line, if you're still hungry, I hope you guys put in another bid.
Oh, if we don't get it, which again I'm planning for us to get it, I'm hopeful. Um, we're going to mourn it for a week, make plans to go to Malta or wherever it is, and then get ready on the next bid. I mean,
Okay.
because I don't see why not. If
Sure.
we don't get it, it's outside of our control, right? So
I
this is
mean,
what
you
it
did
is.
what you had to do, and
Right.
I think y'all did it fairly well, at least from what I could see. And then we'll just see how it goes.
So the last thing I have is a response to our last episode about you complaining about the fluff.
Ooh, okay.
And this comes from
Which fluff?
the Chaos Cup fluff.
Okay.
So this comes from,
I can't remember what I complained about.
well,
Is
it
what
was
I'm saying.
a lot of things.
Huh?
So,
Okay.
um,
Team names, like people's team names.
no, in the almanac, the actual
Oh,
history of the
okay,
yeah.
okay, okay, okay. I got you. I got you.
So this comes from the official source, and that's all I'll say. I'm not going to reveal names or anything, but it is
He's like, "Fuck you,
as
dude. This is how it is."
yes, pretty much. So you're wrong on a few things,
Okay.
and all it did was change one winning team, but we knew very few of the runner-ups. Um,
I'm wrong on many things.
yeah,
I wish he pointed them out so I
he
just
did. I'm
know.
getting there.
I,
The winners
okay,
haven't
cool.
changed. However, there were a number of years where there was no winner due to records being lost, quote unquote. GW basically overwrote the blanks with teams and used a few of the more modern teams like the Everchosen.
Okay.
So it wasn't changing anything, it was adding to,
Okay.
because those lost records have been found. Um, Everchosen, our Chaos Chosen team, first mentioned in Spike 1 2018. Claws of Chaos, another chosen team from the same Spike.
Okay.
So, and like I mentioned to him, is the old ones. We're not so up to snuff on the new ones,
No,
obviously.
and look,
And
sure I make mistakes. I'm
yeah,
going from memory,
of course, yeah.
on a lot of this stuff. So
Uh,
if I was wrong, I'm
Scra-
wrong.
Skaven Blight Scramblers, their claim to fame was being the only team to win the Blood Bowl back to back 24-77 and 24-78.
Mm-hmm.
They got close again, later winning it in 24-92 and 24-94. And then I mentioned, why do they always show the winning team on the left? It should be the home team. And I was put in my place because the Chaos Cup, there is no home team. It always travels every time.
Ooh.
So I was like, that makes sense.
So
Um,
I
so,
don't remember complaining about. I remember complaining about it, but I don't remember
oh yeah, I
the
get it.
Skyver Scramblers thing. Was that because it wasn't no longer in the book?
I think you were confusing that they should have had back to back Chaos Cup wins when they had back to back Blood Bowl Cup wins.
Oh, you're saying I have the wrong cups.
Yeah, you stated that they got rid of the Skaven Blight Scramblers having back to back Chaos Cup wins when they never did. They had back to back Blood Bowl World Cups or Blood Bowl Cups.
I might have for sure
So,
misspoke because in my brain right now, as you're telling me this, I was like, they won two Blood Bowl championships
right.
back to back. So I might have misspoke just like
Exactly. And it happens.
I commonly do with the LWO.
Yes.
um,
So for the
okay.
Latino World Organization, we are no. But yeah, so I just wanted to point that out. I thought that was really cool to get some feedback and some information. But just so you know, there is someone
Did
keeping
you
track
ask
of.
the questions or
Nope.
did somebody walk up to you and go, "Hey, bro,
Someone
I'm gonna
reached
set you
out. That's
straight"?
as much as I'll say.
What's that?
Someone reached out, and that's as much as I'll say.
Okay,
So
that's
there is
awesome.
an official person who keeps track of GW fluff for Blood Bowl.
Okay, and to Mr. Incognito for my mistakes, I will say I'm sorry. And I'm still glad that we have all the stats and stuff.
Absolutely.
Now just fill in that 19 that 2589 or whatever. The one where it was abandoned. It was won by the Oakland Raiders, and then Scott will be happy.
Now we just need the Arctic crag spiders to come out, and then we'll be happy.
Ooh, yeah. That'd be
Uh,
great.
hey, but that I think that's all I have. Do. Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this long episode. It was really supposed to be like an hour long, is what we agreed to about 3 hours ago. So
Yeah. Well, whatever. We had fun.
yep.
I will say that was one of the comments. Someone's like, I really love just sitting down and putting you guys on because it just sounds like I'm hanging out with friends. I'm like, yep, that's all we want because that's what we listen to podcasts for.
Exactly. So your friends are tired now. It's time to go to bed. Or watch Steve make love to your wife.
Which, if you got 10 seconds to spare.
Exactly. Steve will give it will be the most exciting 10 seconds of everybody's life.
Yeah. I mean,
It feels like Steve benefits the most, but whatever. He's going on Blood Bowl trips. If you need him,
exactly.
just email the podcast and Steve will be there.
I'm happy to help.
Anyway, anyways, I know you are traveling this weekend to go to a tournament. I am traveling this weekend to go to a tournament. We don't even have to talk about that, but we will talk about them next time when we return. Steve, it was nice to talk to you, and I'm kind of jealous after hearing about your trip. So,
Yeah.
but not jealous that you had $6 Cokes.
Like I said, only for breakfast, just to get some caffeine in me. Next time, smuggle them in.
That's right. All
Hey,
right. You
I'm
have
good.
anything else?
I'm out.
And whoever, Mr. Incognito, thanks for setting the record straight.
But yeah, we'll be back in a couple of weeks with some new information.
Yep. See you then.
You can follow Both Down on Twitter at Both Down. You can follow Scott at Fat Finley, FATFINLEY, and Steve at Kilowog2814. If you want to know if your team name is Both Down approved, send a tweet to @BDapproved. If you'd like to email them, the email address is bothdownpodcasts@gmail.com. Or for more information, you can visit them at bothdown.com or at facebook.com/bothdown.
Hello, it is me. So thanks for sticking around. I was initially going to do the trailer for Viva Rock Vegas, or Flintstones when they go to Vegas. Oh my god. I watched that trailer because I had to record it. I am not putting you through that. Do not go watch that trailer. That looks horrible. Like, I have not seen any of the Flintstone movies, and I kind of want to, but not that one. We'll never. Oh, wow. It did have the Great Gazoo, so I'm kind of interested, but no. Anyways, I present ZZ Top with Viva Las Vegas. It's the music video, so that's why you get the weird noise.
Ginica.
21 winner.
Come on, baby. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Y'all still want me to come with you?
Thank you very much.
Okay, it goes on for like another 3 minutes. So, good enough. You got the idea. Go listen to VZ. Go listen to ZZ Top. Do not watch Viva Rock Vegas. And we'll see you next time.